Okay, so we're going to show now how to solve statics problems by turning each problem into a system of linear equations and then solving that with the matrix method using spreadsheets. So we're going to pull up our first problem that we used in our sample three-sided problems, where we had cable AB and cable BC holding up 300 pounds. We'll ignore the ceiling AC. So our first problem we set up, it's like this. What values of AB and BC are such that AB sine 30 plus BC sine 60 equals 300 and AB cosine 30 equals BC cosine 60? So I've already set this up as a set of linear equations. Now here I'm saying AB sine 30. Now you in spreadsheets you always have to preface it with radians because the default in angles is in spreadsheets is radians, so you have to say sine radians 30 and it'll turn it into degrees. So AB sine 30 plus BC sine 60 equals 300. Remember, that's B in the vertical, and then B in the horizontal, AB cosine 30. Now here I have to say minus BC cosine 60 because I'm saying they're equal to each other but they're going in opposite directions. So AB minus BC equals 0. AB cosine 30 minus BC cosine 60 equals 0. So there's my equation. Now if you remember, okay, this is the, if we go back to our PowerPoint presentation, this is our matrix A, where we have our coefficients, and this is matrix B, where we have our answers. What we need to find is matrix X, which has the answers for what is A, B, and BC. So if you remember, first we start off by taking the inverse of A. So I use this function A equals M inverse and then highlight my 2 by 2 matrix, the matrix with the coefficients. Hit enter, boom, and this is the inverse of that matrix. Even though it looks exactly the same, if you change a number, notice right here, if I say plus, it does show that there's a difference. So here in this special case, this one case, the inverse is the same as the original. Okay, so now I have, this is A inverse. So now I'm going to take A inverse multiply by B. So I'm going to come right here and I'm going to say equals matrix mult, M mult, and then highlight first the inverse of A, hit comma, and now come up and do B and say enter, and voila, there's our answer. AB equals 150 and BC equals 259. In the way they solve this, the first row corresponds to the first column. The second row corresponds to the second column, so on and so on, depending on how many you have. Now, in Excel, if you're using Excel, it's slightly different. I've put the same equation right here. What you have to do in Excel first, you have to carve out your space where you're going to put your matrix. So I have to carve out this 2 by 2 matrix. And then here I say equals M inverse and come up, highlight the area. Now hit Control Shift Enter and then you get your answer. And then the same thing applies here. Before you type anything, carve out the area for your matrix. So I want a 2 by 1 matrix and I type the same command, equals M mult, and now I can highlight this part, comma, highlight this part, and again Control Shift Enter. If you hit enter, you'll only get one answer, so you have to hit Control Shift Answer. So that's how matrices work. That's how we do matrix multiplication in spreadsheets. Now let's go to our second one where we have our triangle here. 10, 24, 26 sides, and I'm going to just quickly show, again, put it into a system of linear equation, what beams AB, AC, and BC are such that, and our first equation says 24/26 of BC equals 300. So here in B in the X, I say 24/26 BC equals 300. Then my next equation, 10/26 of BC wants to go up, and it's being held by AB going down. So again, because these are going in opposite directions, one has to be negative with respect to the other. I just chose AB. I could have put it down BC. It doesn't matter. But here I'm saying AB, negative AB plus BC, 10/26 of BC equals 0. They balance each other out. And then to find AC, I do the same thing. I say AC minus, again, 24/26 of BC equals 0. Again, and I've already done my M inverse, and I had to do, this time it would be a 3×3 matrix. And then over here I did M mult. And again, you can see if I hit function F2, these are the two things that I'm multiplying. Again, comma, and all that good stuff. And I get my answer 125, 300, and 325. And again, remember, the first row corresponds to the first column, so on and so forth. And you don't have to put a plus sign here. I just did this to kind of show you what this equation is saying. Okay, once you know that, you're fine. Okay. So now also too, what I did is this is a 3×4 matrix, 3 beams. Okay, so I went ahead and renamed this and called it 3×4. Because anytime I have another triangle problem, I can simply go to this matrix and put in the equations, the different equations. And as soon as I do that, boom, I will get the answer. So I don't have to do this again. All I got to do now is figure out the system of linear equations such, what's going on at B of X, what's going on B of Y, C of X, put the new numbers in, and this will automatically calculate. Same thing here. For instance, let's go to problem number 3, and I have a beam and cable, and here I'm going to just go ahead and redo this. I'm going to say, okay, what are the values of beam BC and cable AB such that I'd say BC sine 60 equals 250, and BC, oh, I'm sorry, let me back that up. What are the values? Okay, such that BC cosine 60, it's the vertical part that's the cosine this time. BC cosine 60 equals 250, and BC sine equals AB. So here in B of Y, I'm going to go ahead and start off with B of Y. I have no AB at this point, and I have BC cosine, so I'm just going to change this. Cosine 60, yeah, still 60, all right, fine. And that equals 250, and AB equals minus sine 60. And as soon as I do that, boom, there's my new answer. AB equals 433 and BC equals 500. Okay, there we go. And so, see how easy that was? And now the only thing that the spreadsheets don't tell you is who's in tension and who's in compression. You still have to do that part first so that when you get the number answer, then you just combine it with what you knew is who's in tension, who's compression, and then you have the complete answer. Okay, hope this, try this out and see how it works for you, and you'll find it's much easier. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.